What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. It has been a minute since I posted anything. It's really been a minute since I've really made honestly any videos due to the whole, I guess it's kind of storm, due to the whole current situation of everything going on around the world. I've been really busy and just haven't had anything going on since the last video you've seen on the truck, putting the new injectors in. I really just haven't tried to mess with it or tried to do anything with it as of right now. Can't really order any parts at the moment. Nothing's getting shipped out of Amazon or really anywhere, Rock Auto, anywhere. I also wanted to take a moment to let you guys know that I do have a second channel. If you actually had seen on the community tab of my YouTube channel, I did make a post about it. It's called Downtime, and basically what it is, it's pretty much going to be videos of like travel, and I just wanted to keep that content away from this main channel and keep the main focus of this channel on the vehicles, on the truck build, the cars, the Mustang, stuff like that, and just have another channel to make different videos for, you know, anybody who wants to watch some travel stuff, some cruise stuff, you know, stuff like that. So go check it out. I'll post the link down below in the description, or you might be able to click up here and check out that second channel. But today we are actually going to be working on the Mustang. You probably saw the bumper that's sitting on the top of the truck right now, so I will explain that to you guys here in just a second. So a couple weeks back, probably a couple months back actually by now, the wife drove her car to work. I don't know exactly what happened, if somebody backed into her or what, but we got a nice little dent here. Looks like they scraped all the way up to here. Didn't hit the tail light, thankfully, because these aren't cheap, and we have a broken spot right here. So I really have no clue. I really don't know how that could have happened. Somebody must have had a taller truck with maybe a hitch or something. I don't know. I can't explain that. So I really don't know. But obviously that can't stay like that. So ended up getting a brand new bumper and having it painted. And we're going to figure out how to take this off and replace this bumper and get this car looking back to the way it needs to be. First things first, we've got to open up the trunk, and we actually have to take the taillights out. And in order to do that, we have to remove the trim from the trunk, and then there's a little, I think there's just some 10 millimeters under there, and you take those off. Taillights slide right out. So this is what we're looking at on the radar here for the storm. No problem. Nothing too much to worry about. Welcome to Missouri. It was literally like 80 degrees and sunny just 5 minutes ago when I started the video. So in order to get this off, you've got push pins here. You've got one there, and one on either side right back here and here. And then you've got some little twist off little wing nut things you got to spin off here. And then this whole plastic piece should pop off. Alright, we've got that little panel taken off. That gives you access to obviously your tail lights. We can take those out. I'm going to go ahead and get the tail lights out, your quarter lights off, and then we should be able just to get these bolts, unbolt those from underneath there in the trunk. And then I think there's a couple of screws. Yeah, there's 2 screws that hold it on the back here, and we should be pretty good shape to go ahead and get it off the car. Just poured hail, like really decent sized hail, and I bet the Cobalt is hating its life right now because of it, but look at that. Yeah. Okay, now that fun is over with, and we are back to dry with a few clouds in the sky. So we are going to get back to the bumper on this Mustang. Alright, after you get your tail lights out, next thing you want to do is take off your little corner lights, which if you hadn't seen my video about this before, go ahead and click up above. You just use a little flat blade screwdriver, get in there on the edge like I just did, and these things pop right out. Now I've got all that kind of out of the way. We've got everything removed that would hang up on the bumper. Basically, that's your wiring harnesses right here. Tail lights, not exactly sure if they're 100% necessary to take off, but Then again, you've got this lip which actually fits right underneath the taillight. So we're going to go ahead and take off those 2 screws behind the tires on each side. Okay, so the bumper bolts that I was talking about are actually right in these holes. So we've got one, I think one right here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and I believe that's it that holds this portion of it on. All right, it is a new day. It just would not stop raining last night. So I just kind of packed it up, went in. It rained some more this morning, and it's finally back to being sunny, and the birds are being very loud. But we've got some more progress on this thing. Had to take the rear tires off. Reason being is ours are larger than factory tires, so you can't get into where these little 2 screws are. If you have just a factory tire wheel set up with factory 18s, then you should be able to get a stubby screwdriver in there. But I had to take off both the tires, and I'll probably do the brakes at the same time since I do have those off. So we are ready to pull this thing off. Now obviously you want to be careful not to really scratch up your quarter panel paint right there, so be very, very gentle. It's a little easier with 2 people, just so you can watch both sides. But now we've got this wire harness in here for the license plate light, which we will have to figure out how to remove and pull the harness out, and we should just be able to just take the bumper off and leave the harness right where it sits. Okay, rear bumper is off. Turns out you could actually just unplug that harness and feed it through this hole, and that allows you just to take it off. And now I'm just gonna have to figure this out. So it's still kind of, I mean, it's easy, but it's kind of a pain at the same time. So yeah, perfect opportunity to clean it up underneath here. You got the steel reinforcement bar, exhaust tips, easy access. So probably gonna get that cleaned up before we put everything back together. Okay, so what happened is I went to O'Reilly's, grabbed a rivet gun, took the rivets out, and re-riveted that piece back on. And as you can see here, we've got the bumper mounted back up to the car. And honestly, I was really afraid about the paint not matching, but I think the paint matches up pretty darn close, if not perfect. Since this is an aftermarket bumper, we do have a couple of little places that have a little bit of fitment issues. I'm still messing around with this side. Everything's bolted up as far as the 4 bolts here, and then the other side is actually fitting really, really nicely. This side looks a whole lot better, but if you could tell the paint on the quarter panel versus the new paint on the bumper, pretty good match, pretty close. I really can't tell too much of a difference on the camera, and quite honestly, really can't tell too much of a difference in person either, so definitely happy with that. I don't know if some of you guys know, but if you paint a plastic bumper or really any plastic pieces on a car, they have a tendency to have a slight variation in color just because they are plastic versus putting paint on metal. So that's why I was kind of afraid it was going to be just a slight shade off, maybe a slight shade lighter, maybe a slight shade darker. But everything's matching up very, very well, so I'm very happy. Bumper looks a lot better. We'll have to get that piece of stripe replaced, but you know, overall, doesn't have a big dent in it, so that's a plus. So it looks like a normal car again, so very happy about that. And yeah, we just have to put everything back together, put our screws back on, all of our lights back in, put the inside of the trunk back together, and then we've got a complete car again. Alright, and you reverse the process, put the taillights back in, put the trunk interior panel back in, drill your license plate holes, put your license plate light on, and boom, everything is back together and it looks like a car again. Minus the stripe. I know that stripe, it drives me crazy when I see Mustangs rolling around with the stripe just down to the deck lid and not finished on the bumper. A few differences I noticed in this bumper versus an OE bumper is the fact that, number one, the fitment just a little bit off, which is to be expected. Sucks, but it's to be expected. This bumper has these 3 tabs that hold it, I guess, and give it some support on the bottom. And the new bumper, I guess, is rigid enough, or they thought it was rigid enough, that they actually didn't include that. So we actually only have 1 support on the end over here, and the rest of the little tabs aren't there. So yeah, not a hard project, you know, not something that's too terribly hard to do. Just a little You know, a little time consuming, especially because you want to be very, very careful and you don't want to, you know, damage the new bumper, but looks a lot better. It just looks really weird without that stripe. We will get the tools and stuff put away, and I'll give you guys a little startup of the truck. Sounds really good when it starts up, and it starts up phenomenal with no issues. So we just have to diagnose what's going on with, you know, whatever's going on with the as far as driving it and the backfires go. Alright, that is about it, guys. That's a wrap for this video. We got the Mustang's bumper put back together. The next thing we have to do on it is going to be the brakes, and we've got brand new rotors, drilled and slotted rotors. We've got brand new brake pads, all from R1 Concepts. So I can't wait to get those things put on the car. It's going to look and perform so much better. So I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully, if you have any questions at all about replacing the bumper on a Mustang, or maybe on any other car in general, that might have helped you out just a little bit. But as always, guys, thank you so much for all the support on Instagram. Thank you so much for all of the support here on YouTube, and you know, all the recent subscriptions and everything. The channel is growing pretty rapidly right now, and we're getting closer to that 10K. Don't forget, 10,000 subscribers on the channel. I'm going to be giving away a set of Boost Auto Parts tow mirrors for whatever year model GM truck you have. They've got options for Ford now. They've got options for Dodge, Ram, and I think they've got a brand new option for the Toyota Tundra. So check them out, www.boostautoparts.com, and you know, take a look at what you might want to try to win. So as soon as we hit 10,000, giving away a set of mirrors. Thanks you guys so much for watching. We will see you all in the next video.